Today we're working on our weekly spending plan for March. This is a really important step of your monthly budget routine. So first you've done your monthly budget, your whole picture of how you're gonna plan your money for the month. Then we're gonna break it down by week. So your weekly paycheck, however many paychecks you get a month, you're gonna break that down so that you know how much money you've got coming in and how your bills line up with those paychecks to make sure that you have enough money coming in to cover the bills that are coming out of that paycheck. And then you can problem solve from there. You can take and call to move due dates, or you can plan to save and get a month ahead for some of these bills and plan accordingly. So let's jump into my weekly spending plan for March.
Hi, I'm Megan with Bethel Budgets. I'm here because it's more than just math. At some point, you've probably built a budget. You've laid out your income, you've laid out your expenses, and thought it's simple math. I'll just stick to what's on the paper. But then life happened and your budget didn't work out. The reason? Because it's more than just math. That's where I come in. Let's figure this out together. Don't give up. You've got this.
On the screen, you can see that I have open my weekly spending plan. This is my Google Sheet for the weekly spending plan. I like to do everything on my Remarkable tablet. I do my budgeting by hand, and I'm a pencil paper girl, but this has a lot of math involved. And so I like that the Google Sheets will automatically calculate that for me. But next to this, on the right side of the screen, I have my monthly budget from March that I hand wrote pulled up on the screen so you can see my numbers here. And we're gonna plug these numbers in over here. So across the top, this is where we put in our income. So I'm gonna do that and I will be right back with you. So once you get your income plugged in, you can come down here and you're going to make sure all of your due dates should carry over. Make sure you have all of your due dates plugged in and they are the correct due dates. I'm just going to scroll down. The only due dates that really should change for me are the second Saturday of the month, which for March, the second Saturday of the month still is the 10th, just like it was in February. So I'm going to go back up. All your due dates are the same. You're going to put in your planned amounts. So these planned amounts are coming straight from your budget. I'm going to take these planned amounts here and plug them in over here, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so I've entered all of my planned spending. So now my monthly budget is in my weekly spending plan. And what I'm going to do now is break down my spending based upon my due dates that are in here. This is why we put our due dates in everything as we're budgeting. We put them in our monthly budget, we put them on our weekly spending plan, we put them in our closeouts, we put them in everything so that we know when things are coming out and we know when things are going in so that we have an idea if we come into any problems. If you watched my February closeouts, I was having a problem with due dates. I had some due dates written down as the 2nd of the month when actually they were 23rd of the month. And I think it was my pet care category because I accidentally erased the 3. So you have to watch things like that. Had I not figured that out in my closeout, I would have been wondering, why are they not taking this money? And I was actually wondering, why are they not taking this money? So you have to keep an eye on your due dates. Those are important. So the next step of this is to look down here at your due dates, and we're going to apply these numbers first in the weeks. So I get paid on the 1st. My husband gets paid around the 4th and around the 15th. So we have 3 paychecks we're dealing with. Some people have 4, some people have more, like 5 or 8, depending on when you and your spouse might get paid. Keep it to 4. If they're a couple days apart from each other, just combine some of them, because I guarantee you, you do not want to do these weekly closeouts that we're gonna do next more than 4 times a month. So combine them. You only have 4 spaces here. Do this only 4 times. So combine them to 4 paychecks or 4 weeks. So we start with tithes because that's 10% of each paycheck. So 210 goes here. 240 goes here, and 240 goes here. So if you can see, then that starts this remaining column that gives us our rolling total as we go down. Now we're going to go down and look at due dates. My lump sum sinking funds doesn't have a due date, but my water, sewer, trash does. So that's going to go on the 7th of the month. It comes out. So that will be not my 1st of the month paycheck, but my 4th of the month paycheck. So I'll put that there. The 2nd is when these two bills are due. So I'm going to put those on the 1st of the month paycheck. So that's $65, $149. The 10th is when my cable internet. So that would be on the 4th of the month paycheck. And then you can see as you go across that all of these funds are allocated. So for these, it's a little bit simpler. I mean, it's one transaction and it goes in 1 week. But when we get down to groceries, I want grocery money every week. So it'll be important to have these 3 columns total up to $1,200 across the columns. But they don't have due dates, so we can save those to the end because we can put however much money we need in each of those columns to make these columns zero out at the end. Just like we want our monthly budget to go down to 0 at the end, we want each week to balance out to 0 at the end of each week. Our phone bill comes out on the 11th, so that will come out of the 4th of the month paycheck. Going down to other things with due dates, the 23rd, so that will come out of the 15th of the month paycheck for pet care. So this is a multi-due date thing. Some of it comes out at the beginning of the month, some of it comes out at the middle and the end. I'm going to put it on the 1st of the month because I have the first bill that comes out is on the 2nd. So I'm going to put that on the 1st of the month paycheck. Tuition comes out the 17th, so that's going to be on the 15th of the month paycheck. Gym comes out on the 17th, so that'll be on the 15th of the month paycheck. Mortgage, that comes out on the 1st of the month. Whoops. These things are coming out on the 10th, so they'll be the 4th of the month paycheck. Okay. Our spending, my spouse's spending and my spending don't have a specific due date, so I can apply those whenever I need to. So now that we've done everything with due dates, we can go back and apply some of the things that don't have due dates that we can play with. But first, we got to come down and see at the bottom of our first week how much we have left to spend. So we have $108 left to plan out for spending for this first week. So I need to make sure that we have enough money for gas and groceries. So gas, I need to put about $50 in because I remember getting that messed up for one time. So we'll put $50 in gas and we'll do $58 in groceries. And that should take us down to 0. So we did good. So that first week, that first paycheck, we have a 0 balanced budget for the first week on our weekly spending plan. So now we need to go to the second week and we're going to apply some of these other categories. So I'm going to go on back up to the top. Now my lump sum sinking funds, I'm going to put that in the last week because I like to save that to the end. So I'm just going to put that there. So as we go across the giving, that category is done because it's fully planned and it's fully allocated. Savings, same, fully planned, fully allocated. Housing, fully planned, fully allocated. Food, we still have a lot to spend in the food category. So I like to try to divide things in half between the beginning of the month and the end of the month. So I have $1,200 minus $58. So that leaves me with $1,142. I'm going to divide that in half. That gives me $571 for the first half of the month and $571 for the second half. And I'm going to do the same thing with all of these categories here. I'm just going to divide them equally in half. So I have spending money in each of these categories over both halves of the month. Okay, So then this category is fully allocated. Transportation, I've got 50 there, which leaves 250. What's 250 divided by 2? Boy, it's really intimidating to do math when you're live on camera. I should be able to do that in my head. It's 125. So we'll divide that 125 and, whoops, 125. Car wash. Let's put, well, oh, see, we're already overspent in the second half. If I scroll down a little bit, let's just put that on the first half of the month. How much are we overspent? $278. So if you look down at the bottom, you can see I've already overspent $278 in that third week. So I could keep going with what I'm doing and then fix it later. Or I'm going to just go ahead and fix it now, that $278. Let's go back to my food category. That's my favorite place to move things around. $278. So let's go to groceries. If I take 571 minus 278, that would give me 293 here, making that category, that third week, 0. And then I need to add 293 to that 571, not 293, it was 278. So that gives me 849 here. To make sure I have that right, I can look over here at the allocated line. That's 1,200, my plan 1,200, so we've got that right. So let's just go down and double check. So that third week is done. The first week is done. I can put everything else in the second week. So we've got that category, food. Food is done. Transportation is done. Okay. Personal, we have a lot to apply in personal still. Everything's going in the second week. 150 there, 200. See why I do this on Google Sheets? So much faster than pencil, paper, doing all that math, erasing, redoing. I used to do this on paper. And then, so my sisters and I would just pass this paper back and forth because we would sit there and we would math all this out and then it wouldn't come out right. And then we'd have to math it out again and again and again, and we'd eventually pass it across the table and to each other to look at because their eyes would catch something that my eyes wouldn't, and vice versa. Lifestyle is done. Our health category is finished because remember, we're moving most of that stuff over to the HSA, so that's not so bad anymore. Debt digging, I need to put that in the second week. So that category is finished. Insurance, we don't do anything in because it's all sinking funds. And what else? Oh, spouse spending, 50 there and 50 for me this month. We'll see if I actually use that because I never spend money on myself. I very rarely, I shouldn't say never because obviously last month I did, but I very rarely spend money on myself. So we'll see if I use that this month. If I don't, maybe I'll save it up and get myself something nice eventually. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe I'll move it over and use it for, that phone that I broke or, a bathroom remodel that we need. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, all of these numbers at the bottom are now 0. All of my weekly spending are done. So we had our monthly budget, zero-based budget. Now we have our weekly spending plan, zero-based plan for every week. I know exactly how much money is coming in, and I know exactly how much money is going out based on how much money is coming in. So we have it planned out. If I had more money coming out in week 1 than I had coming in, I'd have to stop and make some phone calls to change some due dates, or I would have to start working on getting a month ahead. And I would have to just rearrange some things. I'd have some problem solving to do. So that's why we do those weekly spending plans, so that this monthly budget we worked so hard on doesn't get blown up because we're not paying attention to due dates and weekly spending, paychecks and things like that. We have everything lined out so we know exactly what's happening. So this is the second step of your budget. So you do your monthly budget, you do your weekly spending, you're tracking your spending all month long, and then you're going to close out your budget at the end of the month. And that's how you have a healthy budget. You're keeping track of your spending, behaviors, all of these things, making plans, adjusting as you go. I know it seems like a lot, but don't give up. You've got this.